Very good afternoon and welcome to Expert Talks. I'm Rose Jacobs, your host for the show. Now, this is the show that brings experts and industry leaders right to your screen so that you can profit in your own financial world and be inspired by some of the experts and leaders. Today we're speaking with Reiner Jansen, Managing Director of Power Technology Engineered Solutions. Michael, it's a very good afternoon and thank you for joining us today.
Hello Rose, thanks for inviting me to the show.
A pleasure. Now, just before we get started, I'd like to cover exactly what your company is all about. Power Technology Engineered Solutions, or PowerTech, is, from my understanding, an Australian independent family-owned energy technology company and system integrator. And sounds like you have a very highly motivated and experienced team with technical core competencies in things like distributed energy, battery energy storage, power systems engineering and system integration engineering. Have I covered everything?
That was quite a mouthful, yes, all these terms, but yes, you're correct. We basically work with utilities and we work with communities and industry to power their sites or their network more sustainably and more reliably and more independently. So yes, to say a bit simpler, that's it. Thank you.
So to start with, can you tell us about how microgrid and distributed energy systems and solutions benefit the power supply systems?
Yes. Microgrids are playing an increasingly important role in power grids. You know how the energy sector, everybody says that, is transitioning from central generation, which was one way from the power station to the consumer, to a bidirectional network that allows for lots of small distributed solar, wind, renewable generation in general. And that has a bidirectional power flow through the network. So microgrid technology delivers kind of what I call autonomous cells within this future network. So where a commercial or industrial operation or a community indeed can not only power itself more sustainable with their own renewables, but also more independently from the power network. That means they can access the energy wholesale markets, which reduces their energy bill. And at the same time, however, can make the network more resilient to avoid overload and congestion in a future network that is more democratic and that allows for more exchange.
It's quite a diversification by the sounds of it there. So in your opinion, how sustainable is Australia's power system at the moment?
Yeah, on the high level, if I remember well, Australia sits at 25% electricity generation from renewables. So that number sits somewhere in the middle as compared to other nations with comparable socioeconomic status. But of course, Australia has all this renewable resource, the sun, and can and must do more and become more sustainable and become more of a leader. And we all know that, there are political factors that have slowed down that development, but there are also systemic factors. Australia has a very complicated regulatory framework, both for the energy markets and for the energy networks, and those must develop. We have seen, as PowerTech, we've done community networks, we've obviously worked through those issues, and we have seen issues with our projects where basically a network said, no, you can't have a private electron on a public network, and similar operational issues. So these things make simple developments difficult. And as a small business, PowerTech has the opportunity to work through those and contribute to resolve those regulatory developments with pilot projects.
Sounds certainly quite complex. So how have PowerTech's capabilities been demonstrated in transformative energy applications?
So luckily we did have the opportunity working with customers I think we have 11 microgrids with battery energy storage systems on the Australian distribution network. And yes, they're all ticking away, they're all working. We started with a project in Cape Jervis in South Australia, which is a town microgrid, and part of that town can go off-grid. We received the Clean Energy Innovation Award from the Clean Energy Council in 2016 for community mural bark in the eastern end of Melbourne, where we also have a renewable microgrid that can operate off-grid, and it sometimes goes off-grid for 24 hours. We've done 3 charging stations with Australian charging network ChargeFox, and we do tricks there, and that sounds quite amazing. I think we have high-powered EVs charging, like 2 modern EVs with 350 kilowatts on a petrol station, which is only connected to a feeder that can do 100 kilowatts. So all that is complemented quickly by the battery while keeping the technology parameters in balance. Quite funny also, we've done 2 pole-mounted batteries for United Energy. They're dubbed the kilowatt koalas because they wrap around the pole. We've done an industrial microgrid for a jam factory in Hahndorf, South Australia, and the next one is for the Ginninderry community in the ACT. So thanks, we've got quite an opportunity to prove these concepts.
A very busy schedule indeed. So Michael, recently, as you mentioned, PowerTech has delivered these first fleets of EV charging station batteries for the public, the electric vehicle charging network with ChargeFox. So can you elaborate a little more on that and give us your expert opinion on how EVs will transform Australia's energy consumption patterns?
Yeah, so of course the models predict, and that's quite natural, that there's more demand, but EVs will also equalize the demand because EVs charge every day, also in the middle of the day when we have a lot of solar. But I think the key question is how to deal with those spikes that electric vehicle charging causes on the electricity network. And this is becoming very relevant with increasing uptake in Australia. Australia is still on a low level, but now we have lots of new projects, including public bus fleets becoming electrical. And I think the solution there is not building conventional networks, means building new large substation, but often the more economical and sustainable approach to deal with those spiky demands, spiky loads, is indeed batteries and microgrid controls. And it's not only about economical, that's even more economical, but of course also about sustainability. And the network that we work with, the charging network ChargeFox, for example, aim at being 100% renewable when charging electrical cars. And to do that, our technology also helps to generate solar on site or to feed in that solar power at one end of the network and use it at the other end of the network in the given regulatory network and market, which has its complexities.
Some very exciting new directions yet to come. I'll be watching that very closely. Now, final question. Innovation is really the key to success for any organisation in the present world. So can you tell us about the recent innovation strategies you've implemented in your grid battery energy storage and other products?
Yeah, as a small company, bootstrapping ourselves, only on the market since 2014, and so we didn't take an approach like how do we become the next unicorn. We rather took an approach of get the innovation really from customer pressures. So we work very closely with the network, with industry, with the charging networks, and have the opportunity that within pilot projects, we actually we feel the pain and we make them work. We make them work in this environment. So we do end-to-end solutions, which is a lot of work for a small company, but which gives us the freedom to do innovation. And yes, we obviously do it a bit smart and sophisticated, and we work and grow together with our customers. I think that summarizes the innovation strategy best.
It's a wonderful plan and strategy, I can assure you. But Michael, that's all we've got time for today. I thank you so much for joining us here on Expert Talks.
Thank you for having me, Rose. Thanks for the opportunity.
Michael Reiner Jansen, Managing Director of Power Technology Engineered Solutions. And that's it for today's talk. I'm Rose Jacobs, and I'll see you next time on Kalkine TV.